Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a top 5 video for you guys. I'm going to be sharing with you guys my top 5 eyeshadow palettes, and this is kind of a random video. I kind of feel like it's really random and out of the blue, but after shopping the Sephora VIB sale and I had an Ulta coupon, so I had shopped at Ulta, there are so many palettes. Like, there are so many palettes. It's kind of annoying. It's kind of annoying how many eyeshadow palettes are out there. It's literally like a new eyeshadow palette comes out on the daily, and it's overwhelming, and I get overwhelmed, but I thought I would sit down and share with you guys my top 5 eyeshadow palettes that I get the most use out of and that I would suggest. I would suggest these to anybody in my life, and I want to suggest them to you guys as well. I feel like these are really good palettes that are great for daily use. So you're not going to see like any crazy colored palettes, none of that. I feel like I need to suggest things that are good for daily use only. So I have 5 of them that I think are amazing. I love them so much. They are my favorite and I grab for them all the time. So yeah, if you want to find out my top 5 eyeshadow palettes, just keep watching. We've got some crazy clouds going on here today, so if I get really bright, I apologize. I'm going to try to like adjust it as we go here. Okay, this first palette I have to share with you guys is, I think it was in my 2016? That was the last year, right? I don't even know what year it is. Yes, 2016 Best of Beauty. This was my top eyeshadow palette in that video, and it's still like my favorite. I think if I had to pick one, ooh, I don't know, it'd be hard, but I think it'd be this one because I just use it so much. I just gravitate towards it and I use it all the time. So it is the Tarte Bloom palette. I love it. The array of colors are perfect for me. It has a great kind of like mid-tone matte color, which that's what I get a lot of use out of compared to like even shimmery shades or really dark deep shades. That's the color I get the most use out of, these 3 right here. And actually I have pretty good indents in them right now as well. But then it has some really just pretty shimmer shades, and they're just really pretty and beautiful. Great matte brow bone highlights, some really deep shades if you want to deepen it up. And I feel like I can get a ton of different neutral everyday looks out of this palette. So I love it. I like that it has kind of a mix of warm tones and cool tones as well. So I can just get so many different looks out of this palette. I love it. It's like my favorite. Okay, the next eyeshadow palette I have to share with you is, I would say this is my favorite formula, especially for matte eyeshadows. I love matte eyeshadows. They're easy for me, they are wearable, I can wear them on the daily and feel just myself. I love matte eyeshadows, they're just the best. And this formula has to be my absolute favorite, and it is the Urban Decay Naked Ultimate Basics palette. I actually didn't grab this right away. I was very hesitant. I was like, I don't really need that. I have so many eyeshadow palettes, blah, blah, blah. And then I got it, and I use it all the time. I use it in conjunction with other palettes. I use it on its own. For me, it's just an easy palette to grab on the daily. So it has a bunch of different matte eyeshadows. I think this one, yeah, this one kind of has a little bit of like a satiny finish, but everything else in here is completely matte, and I love the warm tones. I kind of love these like purpley tones. I really like those on my eyes. Just some really pretty like basic neutral colors. I just like the array of them. I don't really use that gray as much, but they'd be good even eyeliners or like even smudge under your lash line there. Just, I love this palette. I use it all the time. I pretty much stay right here on the daily, but I do, if you want to deepen it up and darken it up, you're able to. You're able to get a lot of different looks out of this palette. I think it's just a basic one. I think, like I said, you can use it in conjunction with other palettes. You can use it on its own. It's just something really nice to have in your collection, and the formula is just the best. Okay, this next eyeshadow palette is also an all matte palette, and I have another all matte palette. I really like matte eyeshadows. I told you guys, I really like them. This formula I really like as well. I don't love it as much as the Urban Decay. I think the Urban Decay has less fallout. and it's just really buttery and pigmented, and it's very easy, and if you're a beginner, it's so easy to work with. These are a little harder to work with because they are so saturated and they have a little bit of fallout, but it is the Kat Von D Shade and Light Eye Palette. I think this is an amazing palette. It has every single color, matte, neutral eyeshadow that you could ever want. It's just, and I really like that the bigger pans are basic ones that you use all the time and you will definitely make an indent in. I feel like every time I go for an eye look with this palette, I always reach for these two. I constantly am reaching for a lot of these different kind of mid-tones. There's warmer tones, there's cooler tones. You can get so many looks out of this, and it's basic and it's easy, and I love it. Again, like I said, they're so pigmented. They have a little bit of fallout. So you have to be careful with them, but they are amazing. I love this palette. I think it's definitely worth looking into. Okay, the next eyeshadow palette is another matte one, but this one I feel like it's different from the other two, that it's much smaller, and it just has like, it's perfect. I feel like it's perfect for a no makeup day. When you're not wearing a lot of heavy makeup, you're just going very, very light, tinted moisturizer, lip balm, and maybe a little something on your eyes. This is like the perfect thing to reach for, and I constantly reach for this when I do that. I reach for it with like other palettes as well because it's kind of all matte. It does have one satin, but it is the Naked Basics palette. I love Urban Decay, I just said that. They have the best matte eyeshadows, and I love this palette. I literally dig into this palette. I'm almost hitting pan on Naked too, and I have to tell myself to like put this away because I don't want to use it up. I love that shade so much. I use it all the time, but it's just like really easy. It's, again, it's basic, but I feel like you can use it with other palettes. It goes well on its own. It goes well for like that like running out the door easy look. I just love this eyeshadow palette. I definitely suggest it to everybody, especially if they're looking for something that's, especially if they're not a makeup person. If you're not like a totally, which you might not be watching this video if you're not a makeup person. But if you're not like super into makeup, I feel like this is so great to have because it's so basic and the colors are just so neutral and easy and wearable for so many different skin tones, and it's in eye colors and hair colors. It just goes with a lot. So I think it's just a great palette to have, and I definitely suggest it. Okay, and then the last palette I have to share, I'm actually surprised I picked this one. There was another palette I almost picked over this one, but I feel like this one has something special to me, and I think it has just a beautiful array of colors, and I feel like it can complement so many different people. So it is the Lorac Unzipped palette, the original, not the gold. I love this palette because, again, it's really easy. Like, you really can't go wrong with this palette. You could slap just this eyeshadow on your lid and just be done, and you're done. Like that's it. Like, you could just be done with that one eyeshadow. I love that it does have a good like array of some matte shades, but then the shimmers are just really wearable. They're easy. Like I said, they're kind of one and done shadows. You can put it all over your lid, kind of blend it up in the crease, and you're done. Like, you don't have to do much else with this palette. So I just like it for that reason, and I think bronzy tones kind of complement a ton of different people, different skin tones, eye colors, hair colors. I think it's just a really nice palette. I love it. I definitely suggest it. It's one of my favorites. It's one of my most used, and it's easy. So if you're wondering what palette I was kind of going against, it was going against the Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette. I had to mention it. I love that one too. It's such a great one. I think that, again, it has a really good array of neutrals. It has a lot of different shimmers, but it also kind of has that like pop of color in case you wanted a pop of color. So I definitely suggest that one too, but these definitely are my staples. Like, I pull them out all the time on the daily. They're usually, if you're ever wondering what eye color I'm wearing on my eyes and I'm wearing something really basic and neutral, it's one of these palettes. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any video requests, leave them down below. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe, like if you like this video, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!